Ay, ay. Yun, wala ka nun. Wala ka nun.
Oh my God.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is who we love and that's who we serve. It's Tuesday, March. Holy crow, March 14th. Wow, I can't believe it. We're in 2023. Before you know it, the future is going to be here. So stay tuned with us. We got a bunch of cool topics today. We're going to talk a little bit about whatever's on our mind, folks. You're not going to want to miss today's show on the InnervisionFM broadcast. I'm Alan C. Got Johnny J in the house, president and station manager, InnervisionFM.com.
How dare you?
Is it running now? Yeah. Hi, everybody. This is the Godfather, Soul James Brown. I tell you, this business is on. My man is on. Check him out. This is the Godfather, Soul James Brown saying stay with it and hit it.
How dare you?
Wow. Good morning, folks. Morning, Johnny.
Hey, good morning.
Bravo. How are you?
Yes. Everybody's in the house?
Everybody's in the house.
Oh, man. Oh, we're going to be talking about bailing out banks and is it really working for the working class? These bailouts of the banks where the regime says this won't cost the taxpayers any money. And I'm thinking like, where does the government get their money? And why does he think that we're so stupid that we don't realize that he's using our money to bail out this woke bank?
Oh, oh, man.
It's like, man, the government, I wonder if they're just stuck on stupid, because it's like the government doesn't generate any money. They just collect money from us. Right? And
That's
then
true, though.
yeah. And they're going,
That's true, though.
So when politicians say it's not going to cost you anything, I don't know, you got to check them on that.
Hey, speaking of cost, it costs a little bit to keep the lights on here at InnerVision FM. So we're going to need your help. We are listener supported as well as sponsor supported. We do have a couple of sponsors. InnerVision FM enjoys Christian Brothers Moving Company in Phoenix, Arizona, Inglewood, Colorado, and also in the great state of Texas. We also enjoy working with Denver venues. They help us with the musicians and the recording artists that we sponsor and try to get promoted. Let's see what else we got. I just drew a blank. We've got a couple of other.
Oh, yeah. Any mini grant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you already said Christian Brothers Movie Company. And that'll work. I sent out a couple of tweets this morning, like promoting Finger T, Dark Tower album. And see, Broken Chains, D'Angelo T. Let's see, who else did I? Wayne Turner, Rockin' in Jesus. And I tell them, hey, let's try to, either through just donations or purchasing those albums, let's try to raise $1,000 before the end of the week. Just just put it out there, see what happens. And then I talked about, as you guys know, well, not in South Africa. I don't know if this is happening in South Africa, but here in America, the Biden regime has been throwing money at people not to work,
right?
Because they want us to be, they want us to be a socialist country. So they say, well, we'll just give you money so you can sit at home, or you can do your little side jobs, or we'll give you more money to sit at home rather than work. So therefore, employers are having a hard time getting responsible employees. They get people that they scrape the bottom of the barrel to get the people that will just walk through the door, right?
Right.
So we were at this Subway, or it's one of those places, a franchise, right? And looked at the chart, and it says, like, it gives the number of what sandwich you want. Well, the guy, because he doesn't know what the thing is, and it was too lazy to just turn around and look, he says, we gave him the order for, it was for a 12-inch, right? And he said, well, what order do you want? And I'm not really paying attention. I just say, I'm going to get a 6-inch, whatever. So he thinks like 6-inch, but the order was for a 12-inch, right?
Okay.
And so he gets mad at us because we want him to pay attention to the board that was set up for a reason.
Right.
And so we ended up not buying anything there because we figured, well, eventually people will stop going there, and either the manager is going to have to fire this person, and like I guess May is when this emergency order is going to end, and therefore that all the money that's coming in to pay people to sit at home is going to no longer be. So yes. I figure like this company has like about a month and a half of putting up with this guy before people will say, I need to get back to work because they're not paying me all this money to stay at home.
What you're saying, Johnny, is the COVID emergency, the stuff that has kept the money flowing in the form of food stamps or SNAP benefits, whatever you want to call it. Those are in May, is that right?
Yep.
Wow.
May 1st, Monday, May 1st.
So, for those of us that might have got used to the extra little bump, it's going to be a little bit rough for us, even as it is. It's interesting because the food is been in the news since last year, around about last February, last March. They were talking about how there might be a food shortage due to fertilizer issues, due to other chemicals that go into different fuel supplies for transportation. And we are here now, so it is going to be interesting. I hope folks are somewhat prepared as much as they can be, because it's going to get dicey.
Yeah. So what do you think about that, Level? It's like if you go into a place, a restaurant or something like that, and and usually like they have McDonald's and Burger King to teach young people how to service customers. This guy was a lot older than a teenager and should have known. But like I said, because they had to hire whoever they can get, whether the person knows customer service or not, they chose to hire this guy for now because he's just a warm body there, but not maybe he shouldn't have been in that kind of like job of customer service.
Sure.
So have you ever had that happen to you where you went into a job and the person just doesn't know how to serve the customers?
Well, okay, like to my experience, no, it never happened, but I was fortunate enough to not actually work specifically, but to get a feel of how people work in the retail sector. I went to a supermarket. I think it was Spar here in South Africa. That was back in 2014. We were training there. I remember I was at the bakery. Like they were baking bread and also banana bread as well. So they were showing us how to bake actually, but it was something that was not even in my mind even that time.
Sure.
And when I went there, I think back in 2015 to apply, like to go and apply for a job, then they just took my CV, or let me say my resume, and then they just, they didn't even bother to call me. Then, and I went to another retailer, which is a clothing retailer. It's called Pep Stores as well. So it's also here in South Africa. So I went there also. Okay, I was training there, but well, for that it was kind of something that I never ever realized. Why are they like doing certain stuff for some reason? Like, imagine cleaning mirrors. Sometimes you go to the bag, unpack the stock. I was like, no freaking way, I'm not going to do this anymore, because it's something that I'm not even used to. So even now, like when they tell me about like retailers or retail stores, I'm like, no, like it's nothing that I would even like go to work for, or unless shopping, yes, but even though I don't like shopping, but when it comes to like customer service, it's something that I like people mostly they don't even I can say maybe train, because like most of the times when I get um notifications on when it comes to like learnerships or something like that, they just talk about project management, they talk about IT, they talk about just common stuff, like general stuff. But when it comes to retail or retailers, it's something else. So it's something that's not even there. That's one thing I can say.
I have another question for you. Okay, you might have heard or might not have heard. We had this big bank that ran out of money, and there are like several reasons why this bank ran out of money, and one of the reasons was they were in America. For some, the Democrats and liberals, they think it's better to hire people based on what they look like or what their sexual orientation is, rather than them having the qualifications. So they hired this woman to be a part of the CEO, and she fit all the slots. She was Latino, and she was a female, and this, but she was dumb as a rock as far as like financial management, but she fit all the check marks. And they started looking at this bank, like I guess in February. They started looking at this bank maybe 4 months ago, and finding that some of their practices weren't going to be sustainable. And in America, they called it transitory inflation. Okay. Yeah, it's a new word. They come up with these new words that really don't mean anything, but it sounds good, so that's what they go with.
Okay.
So this bank crashed, and people started hearing that this bank wasn't doing too well, and they started running to get their money out. Well, in America, most our banks are insured up to $250,000, but if you're a business, you probably have more money in there, like 500,000 or $1 million, $2 million, because you're paying a payroll, so you have to have somewhere to put that money, and then send out the direct deposits or whatever from that. And so this bank had bought a bunch of bonds, and these bonds were yielding like 2%, but because the interest rate was going up, they were losing money on these bonds.
Right.
And so now the bank crashed, and Biden comes up with this, because he's never even balanced a bank account in his life. He comes up and says, that's what I would say. He says, don't worry, everybody. This won't cost the taxpayers anything. We will guarantee, $250,000. But all you other guys, too bad, too sad. You took a chance, you lost. But now they're suing because they said, no, not too bad, too sad. We want our money. And so this is the hodgepodge that's going on right now, which we have a pretty much an invalid in the White House, brain invalid, that has no clue about finances.
So we do have the two collapsed banks, the Silicon Valley Bank, and the other one that most recently collapsed yesterday. And I guess the idea being is if this continues, what is this going to do to the stock market? What is this going to do to investments that people have throughout the world? I have no idea. I mean, when you're dealing with this kind of money, when you're dealing with numbers that aren't even real numbers, I mean, when you're talking about billions of dollars or even trillions of dollars in some cases, when you're talking about different countries around the world.
Like Sweden, they had a lot of the retirement plan locked up into this bank.
Yeah, and can I answer on?
Oh yeah,
that?
Go ahead.
Yeah, because I hear you're talking about like in what you call interest rates and all that stuff. I remember we also had a bank. Actually, it was collapsed back in 2017. It was called VBS. Because a lot of people here in South Africa and also politicians, they also like invested money, and then all of a sudden, even like our municipality, they also invested money in that bank, but only to find out that they like it was kind of like, I don't know if it was a scam or what, I can't remember correctly, but when the bank actually was dissolved or like collapsed, then it vanished with the money. So like people was starting to wonder how will they get their money back. And it was something that even the parliamentarians at Cape Town were talking about. How will they get their money back because of this bank just vanished with their money, and it was and also collapsed. So there was something that people were talking about like all over South Africa. Like the time, I don't remember if I was using Twitter or what, but it was something that it was talked about, and even now it's not even relevant. Now they're talking about the shutdown that will be happening on Monday, that the EFF is planning to do, and they'll be joined by a trade union, SAFTU. So it's something that is South Africa is just a mess these nowadays. I don't know why, because I mean I was like even puzzled when it comes to that, because like even now we're still sitting on load shedding. And I was talking to one of our neighbors just earlier this afternoon. I was with him just a while ago. And I was asking him like, when is this load shedding going to end? And he says like it's like going to take probably like 18 months. I was like, no way.
Wow.
South Africa though, it just gets itself into problems where it can't even solve its own. And just recently, I don't know if you guys heard that it was grey listed. Like just I think at the beginning of this month or late last month, I'm not sure, but the news just broke that South Africa was grey listed because of the what you call the fraud that's happening, the money laundering that's happening, and it's like kind of chaos, and there's a lot of stuff that's happening here in South Africa. That's one thing I really didn't understand what was going on with that.
I just thought about something. I'll tell you this funny story. It's a TV show we have called IG Magini. And it's just this lady, she can give her master anything he wants. He just has to think of it. And one time it was it's Major Nelson and Major Nelson and I forgot the name of his. What was it? Roger.
Major Healy.
Major Healy, and then Tony Nelson. Major Healy and Tony Nelson. Okay. So Roger was going to go in for a appendicitis operation, and Tony was talking to Gina about, I wanted to be a doctor at one time. And so she says, you want to be a doctor? And so she blinks, and he's standing in the operation room with the scalpel.
What?
And the guy says, no, you're an astronaut. You're not going to cut me open. Oh man.
How can an astronaut use a scalpel though?
Well, yeah, she just blinked and put him in the operating room, and Roger recognized him and said, "Wait a minute, Tony, what are you doing with that knife?"
So
Ay,
Oh.
ay, ay.
story is
Woo.
trained professionals in the banking industry really should be in charge of the money, or
Yes.
moral
Yes.
of the story here?
The moral of the story is just because you want to be something and you look like you fit in, you look like something, they shouldn't give you the knife if you never went to school for that.
I'm Alan Colvin, and I only play a doctor on television. I'm not a real doctor.
Oh man, I forgot what episode this was, but it was just funny when he screamed and said, "Wait a minute, I'm gonna let you cut him in." He ran out of the operating room, and eventually they did get a doctor to do the appendicitis, because that's just a very simple idea. But if you're not a doctor, even a simple thing, it's not going to end up well.
That's right, folks. So, yeah,
But
I guess
the
the
one-
moral of the story really is we have these collapsing banks. We've got these governments that just really don't seem like they're for the people. They do have their own interests in hand and in mind, and so I think it's time, folks, that we kind of start holding our elected officials accountable for their decision. So what do we do about that? I mean, do we pray to a big God in the sky? Oh Lord, help. Well, certainly. Yeah, I mean, we've got our eternal salvation, and he does want for us to be abundant here as well as in the hereafter. But how do we do that? How do we do that, Johnny, when we've got a worldwide cadre of folks that are bent on doing the exact opposite of that?
Well, I say, what is it? We walk by faith, not by sight, and we know that when everything seems like in turmoil, like the world system is at the moment, and will be probably tomorrow. We know that we could call upon it like a peace that passes all understanding. So when everything's going crazy, you can say, okay, out there is going crazy, but internally, we can call on that peace, kind of thing.
Yeah, amen.
Yeah. So,
Amen.
yeah, everybody is like, so the people that lost money, well, they may be a lot of atheists, so they don't probably have peace at the, and so they're going to the courts. Yeah, even Paul says like, go ahead.
But the one thing that I can say is like, if you lose money, but the bank has collapsed, then what you going to do about it? Even the courts will never help you out, because like that's one thing I can
see. Yeah, you're right in that case. Yeah,
because if the bank is collapsed, then you won't even get your money back. They just lost.
And that's what happens in countries outside of, I mean, I guess, insuring our money up to $250,000. I mean, that works for like if you're only making $50,000 a year, if you're making $60,000 or $100,000, I mean, that works for you guys. But there's a lot of people that make this world go around, and sometimes, because I know I have a friend that he has 28 employees,
right?
And he's paying those people at least either between $30,000 and $40,000 or more. Those families,
right?
So that would be devastating to them, because some of them. This is one lady we talked to at the Christmas party, or the celebration party. She has 5 kids.
Wow.
So it's like, so if something like that happened in Colorado, and it was his bank that he had all his holdings in, I mean, that family would really be hurting, even though they have food stamps and but that takes a while to get on that stuff. They have food banks that you got to go on certain days. And then if you don't have gas money because your bank has just collapsed, I mean, that just, that's a lot of stuff that you have
and you bring up a valid point, Johnny. When you get on a fixed income, like your you're getting maybe food stamps or what do they call them? SNAP benefits in this country. Not sure in other countries, but say you're getting these things and these programs, money does not just fall out of the sky. A lot of folks believe that you can just get free stuff, and that's just not the case. So once you get to a place in a country that is developed like America, other countries like Africa that maybe don't have the infrastructure like America once had. What am I trying to ask here, Johnny? Okay, so we see all this stuff going down. We know that we have salvation. We have eternal life for those that ask. But by golly, we just lost $28 million, or whatever the case may be. What do we do at that point?
Well, maybe not get off the grid, because you did that once. You get off the grid and you were just self-sufficient and say, "Hey, I'm gonna survive." Catch a rabbit and skin it, and bunny food for the night, or grab some berries and stuff like that, and so I think I think a lot of us have to learn how to plant our own garden. I know Slade that she teaches how to plant, raise vegetables and fruit even if you live in an apartment.
Wow.
But I know a lot of people, they say, we'll wait until the last minute.
Well, and that's an interesting thing too, Johnny, is a lot of these folks, maybe they've heard for the past year or 2 years, get prepared, get ready, put a reserve of cash aside for this eventuality. Well, it never happened. So these people are like, well, we've been told that these banks were going to collapse. We've been told to get a cash reserve put together, and nothing happened. So we didn't do anything. Now suddenly all of these things are indeed happening. But now it's a little late to even start preparing, because inflation has just gone through the roof, and there are a lot of people really truly hurting.
True. Hey, we're at the end of the show. Leave your comments and like and share the show, and give us your opinion about our topic today. And,
absolutely. Wherever you're watching.
And so we're gonna call it a day, and wish everybody a fantastic day for the rest of the day. It's March, daylight saving time.
That's right.
Get rid of that jet lag, and and have a good day.
One quick thing: as long as we're always breathing, there's always hope, folks. So don't give up.
Man.
Oh, definitely.